topic. It won't be hard to find entire books on the subject.
Are you a believer as well?
Yes. Are you not yourself a believer, even though your divinity goes by a different name? How can one not believe when the Enlightened, or the god you worship, blesses you with the power to defy the laws of nature? I know well that the Alliance thinks it is nothing more than a phenomenon they've yet to explain. And I'm sure that in the end, a scientific explanation will be found for everything. But I do not share their opinion.
See you later.
It's...
These are the arid shores of tiny...
Feels like it was just yesterday when... left, but this city seems to have already changed. And not in a good way, I'm afraid. It's buzzing with guards, and you can feel the tension in the air. We need to be cautious and discreet.
You! I never thought I would see you again, friends. I assumed you had returned to your homes, far from the folly that shadows us all here.
The folly? What are you talking about?
Let's just say that things are not moving uphill. The General Kurnaz and his faction are more and more popular. He said a few populist speeches of note, pamphlets are circulating, and posters postulating that an empire is the solution to all problems. Of course, the majority of intellectuals and savants disagree with that conjecture, but the population is adhering to the proposition. This has allowed him to impose to the Sopharks a certain number of changes. Soldiers are everywhere, you must have noticed.
Indeed. The atmosphere in the city has changed. We can sense the mounting tension.
It's because our Tiar Nahar, the mistress of all knowledge of my people, had foreseen such a possibility that we have returned. Has the Council of Al-Sad not tried to return to a semblance of order?
Alas, they haven't. Kurnaz was able to win a few battles against Dutan, and in doing so garnered support from partisans of his ideology. As for the others, they've demonstrated a gullibility that is disconcerting. They do not see the danger that he represents despite my warnings. Alongside other guilty parties, your people is often listed among them, which has made them less sensitive to the horrors the General has in store.
And are you aware of his new plan to instate his empire?
Alas, I am not. Though he's gained influence, he's far from achieving his goals if he continues with his current methods. Knowing him, he certainly has something in mind. But unless we were to go and spy on him, I don't know how we could guess his next steps.
That's an idea. Why not go and spy on him? Do we know where he is right now?
He is not easy to pin down. He changes his place of residence nearly every day, and is never seen without a large escort of soldiers. However...
Yes? Are you getting an idea?
I learned that the General is organizing a meeting in his residence tonight. He hardly ever holds such meetings, but he must need to reassure his influence supporters. His residency is found in the military borough, not far from the prisons. But I need to warn you, it won't be easy to get in.
It would seem that luck has finally shown her face. Let's go. We'll find a way to infiltrate that house.
Once again, be extremely careful. If you're caught, I won't be able to do anything for you. And it would only help Kurnaz convince the population of the danger you represent.
We will do everything to remain discreet, you can be sure.
I hate having to stoop to espionage, but I fear that we have no other choice. Do you have anything else you would like to discuss?
Thank you for having us. We're leaving.
It was a pleasure. I hope we'll have another chance to meet.
Our general must really be afraid for his life. There are more guards here than my uncle's palace, who is rather infamous for his paranoia.
Let's not dally here for too long. We don't want to be spotted.
You're always late. How do you expect us to make any headway if you're never here on time? You need to pick up the pace and stop pretending to work. What do you think the master is going to say if he comes to inspect the site?
The master's here?
He certainly is. So, back to work, imbecile.
Curse slaver. You can build your own home by yourself.
This worksite is the perfect point of entry into the property. We should go and speak to the foreman or his worker.
What are you doing there, you lot? This site is off limits to the public, and I'm not hiring.
We are not here for that reason. We were hoping we could convince you to allow us into the gardens.
Oh, were you now? And why would I do that? I'd be running the risk of losing my good client, and there would go my livelihood, you see?
We love plants. And we've been told that the vegetation is something.
Oh, you're wasting my time. I couldn't care less about that. Then be off with you. I have work to do. And don't come back bothering me, or I'll call the guard.
We won't get anything else out of the foreman. He's more stubborn than a mule. But his worker, he might have something to tell us.
What do you want? If my boss sees me talking, he's gonna fire me on the spot.
We would like to get into the gardens of this residence. And we were thinking that you might be able to help us.
You want a way in there? It's full of guards, you know. You wouldn't be able to stay in there for very long before getting thrown out.
I understand that it gives you pause to worry. You're taking a risk, but...
There's no need
If you
for you
want
to
to wear
worry.
yourself
I
out.
won't be the one to stop you. For me, anything that makes that nasty water for Master lose some sleep is good for me. So here's what we're gonna do. The wall up there won't be repaired tonight. Normally, we put the ladder that gives us access away at the end of the day, but I'm gonna leave it for you. At nightfall, go in there and do what you need to do. And if you can make a little mess, enough so that dumb foreman gets a few grey hairs, that would be even better.
Thank you for your help.
It's nothing. I'm the one to thank you. I'm already laughing.
What a lovely day.
Those imbeciles don't understand anything. They quibble as our country mires itself in a war without end. Only a powerful empire could crush Thélème and bring us the peace and prosperity we all dream of. These diplomats and scholars blather on and on about sovereignty when they risk being swept away by the enemy. But I shall persuade them otherwise. My war monsters will give them new perspective. Once they've seen the power these beasts provide, the victories served on a platter, they will bend. Imagine all the nations of the continent, as well as Teofredi, finally united under a single banner.
May the Enlightened guide my hand.
No, monster! Die! I will not let you enslave my nation!
What have we here? If it isn't your friend, Zerin, the Thélème spy. She's not alone. Arrest her accomplices.
They're fleeing through the garden!
I see him! Over here!
Don't let them get away!
I should have suspected she was up to something. She was too eager to join our mission.
My dear, you cannot carry all the misery of the world on your shoulders. Fausta made her choice. It was doomed to fail, but it is what it is. That said, if we want to recover our friend, we would do best to get her out of jail quickly. They won't be keeping her alive for very long.
Look, a trapdoor. It must lead us close to the Grand Bazaar. We should go through here.
Well, well. A Teofredi savage and a hodgepodge band of misfits. I've heard talk about you. I'm quite happy to make your acquaintance. And even happier to know that you'll soon be rotting in a jail with your friend, that spy from Thélème.
Why must Kurnaz's soldiers always be so arrogant? Should we get rid of him?
Yes. To arms!
Intruders! Watch out!
Let's show them what we're made of!
My men will be here soon. You're done for.
From the borough is really
Desert armor! Guns! I've got the best, most deadly weapons!
Oh, I was starting to fear we wouldn't be able to make it back to the ship.
Thank you, Fausta. What got a hold of her? I too wanted to kill that frogwort, but I didn't put everyone in danger to do it.
I hope she is still alive.
She certainly is, but her incarceration will be trying. Kernaz is going to want to interrogate her, and I fear that his methods will be brutal.
Do you have an idea where she might be being kept?
In the prison, which I believe you're already familiar with.
It's the only adequate place for holding someone in the city. She'll be in quarters that are far more guarded than the ones you were in.
We're going to have to plan another escape while the entire city is already on our heels. How are we gonna do this?
Come now, Alvi. Don't cry defeat. You know that I'm rather gifted in this domain. I've already proven myself, haven't I? I am certain that we can sneak our little brainless favorite out of these jails, no matter how protected they are. Just give me some time to think.
We're all going to need to think this through. About this and all we've learned. Despite our intervention in the ruins at High Prairie, Kurnaz has not abandoned his plans to use guardians in his war. I need to perform the ritual that Mev spoke to me about. She said that it could help us understand the continent and counter Kurnaz's plans.
I'll be at your side. Together, we can accomplish the will of the Tiernahach and understand these lands.
Thank you, Nilan.
Wherever you decide to go, we'll follow you. The Constanzia, her crew, and I. You need only tell us a destination.
Let's get to work.
Oh, by the Tempest. I can't believe Falster would do that to us. Why on earth did she suddenly decide to go and try to play assassin? We're gonna go after her, right? At sea, we don't abandon a ship in distress.
I won't bother you.
Had I led the attack myself, Kurnas would not have survived. I'd have liked Fausta to tell me about it. Speaking of Fausta, we're not going to leave her in that prison, are we?
I've got to...
I hope Fausta can hang on until we come to her rescue. The General will do everything he can to break her.
Good boy.
The fool! I've never seen such a poorly executed murder attempt. It was disastrous. Pathetic. Why didn't she warn me and ask for advice? Ugh. Assassination is an art, especially with someone as well protected as Kurnaz. It's not something that should be entrusted to amateurs, really. Forgive my moodiness. Did you want something?
Good Lord, Fausta, why did she throw herself on the General? Not that I don't understand why she wanted to kill him, that's obvious. But we would have learned so much more if she'd held her hand. And now we have to get her out of prison again.
But...
Poor child. Why did she have to try such a stupid thing? Kurnaz is so well protected, she had no chance. I hope we'll get her out of jail as fast as possible. I dare not imagine what they must be doing to her.
I'll leave you to it, Safia.
See you later, my friend, and take care.
We got a letter. I have everything Mev told me was required to successfully perform the Anatella's Fair.
Here's the coast. We'll finally be...
I remember the feelings of joy mixed with sadness that I felt when we came here for the first time. Surrounded by our own, I felt safe, even though I saw to what extent they had suffered to make a life here.
Yes, they were prisoners, like you and Nilan, former slaves who'd escaped. I should have taken you somewhere safer.
Memories are a strange thing. I remember Lardin being so kind. Then the attack, suddenly transforming into a beast, and everything grew confusing.
We must finish the preparations for the ritual. The time has come.
Gordian's head has been honorably prepared and placed.
Ato olcam frangi e brandi ole hanememen. Ades dama charmam. Linquid dam da veru evridanas te hanemo avelu de talugedan. Klus de ta hauan buledi de ta ragam kengu entagamem. Qua en anemam har sa emiedi.
My dear, you gave us quite the scare. You'd fallen into a sort of catatonic state that made us think you might be dying.
I'm well, even if I am exhausted and disorientated. What I felt is difficult to describe. I was laden. Suddenly I felt my body shredded in an explosion of terrific rage. Then I was that rage, and I became something else. I was immense. My roots digging into the depths of the earth, my peaks touching the sky. But I was wounded and full of hatred, and then I saw myself. Tiny, sitting here, as if hiding in a shard of my past powerful greatness.
It was violent. Terribly so. The spirit of the continent. Gakan is of a completely different nature than on Milfrichtenen. A vengeful and destructive will devours it entirely. I am not surprised that anyone binding with it is transformed immediately.
That's it. I was all of Gakan. And I was full of infinite suffering, as if thousands of needles were piercing my skin. I felt violated and dying, as if some horrifying illness had infected me.
I sensed in my mountaintops the place where I wanted to bond. Something there continued to draw from my power.
You're describing this as if you truly felt it. I am so sorry for you. It must have been horrible.
You're going to need to rest after this. Did you see anything that could help us anticipate Kernaz's next movements?
Yes. Other than the caverns, I felt certain places as if they were my own internal organs beating with energy. I suppose that these are places of power. Places where bonding rituals might be performed as well.
I know this might be a stupid question, but do you think you could locate them?
Would you know how to find your heart? Yes. I felt where they can be found. One of them we know already. It's the one on the lands of the congregation, near the border with your country. There were others beyond there. I don't know how they are called, but I could show them to you on a map.
I suggest we notify the Duton Embassy to ensure that these powerful places are properly guarded.
Excellent idea, Ludwig. Even if it would be risky for Kernaz to send men directly into the heart of enemy territory.
Agreed. Since it only requires a small detachment of men to create one of these creatures, surveillance would not hurt.
Alas, there were also several on these lands. And these could be easily exploited by the General. There were two twins. One a great chasm to the north of Olima, a cancer in my flesh, and the other touched my peaks. I imagine that it's a mine near another site of ruins in the mountains. There was another to the north, still within my entrails, near a long, wet scar.
You're speaking of the Tyne Canal, I think. There are numerous Astrian ruins in the region. This place must be one of them.
That is possible. There are so many, my head is spinning. Concerning the twin sites, I believe the one in the mountain heights is where Nilan bonded himself. We know there was a mine nearby. That's probably the other twin site. It was leaking pus, much more wounded than the others.
Till, Safia, do you know this mine?
That would be an old copper mine. I think it's abandoned.
I concur. Production was stopped years ago. The copper was eventually depleted after centuries of exploitation.
Yet, still I sensed that something was going on there. We should go and see.
I agree. I felt the same thing. As if something were stretching me.
Kurnaz chose this place to continue his research, and it will be heavily guarded.
And your vision of the ruins near the border?
It was a place like the others. I just recognized it more easily because we had been there. Great battles were fought there in ancient times, weren't they?
Yes. The war between the Empire and the Free Cities, supported by the Congregation, spilled over all the way to those lands. The earth must still be drenched in the blood of the poor soldiers who perished there.
Yes. There was so much blood spilled.
Perhaps. But we went there and a ritual was already performed. It wouldn't seem an urgency to return.
Yes. It's to the mines that we should go first. Something is going on there.